Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Salutations and affirmations, listeners. I don't know what an affirmation is. I just think of that guy on Saturday Night Live that had the daily affirmations where he'd look into the mirror and say nice things about himself.
He's like the politician guy. Frankel.
Oh, it was. It was.
Was that Stewart?
It was
Good
Stuart
enough?
Smiley,
Smart
and that
enough?
was Al Franken. And
Al Franken, that's it.
And Al Franken got in trouble for like giving people unwanted affirmations here recently.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, not poor Al.
Well, this is the worst opening I've done so far. I just
Right into controversial subjects.
right. So let's
Let's
move
get
on.
out.
Let's get out of that. And let's move on to something that's not controversial.
But before we do, that's something I've been waiting to tell you this,
All right, tell me.
to get your thoughts on it.
This is Jerry, by the way.
Oh, yeah, this is Gavi.
Follow us on Facebook,
This is Board Game
Twitter,
Snobs.
and whatever else we're on.
Blibbity blobbity bloob.
Board Game Snobs.
Although I do want to say we have one follower on Instagram.
We like you.
He's very faithful.
Who?
Board Game Diner.
Does he eat board games?
I think they
Classic burn.
bubble in my throat. I think they I don't know. I have not asked why he has that name. Maybe I think they do go to like the board game cafe there in Las Vegas somewhere.
Oh.
He's the one from Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, because I made some very disparaging marks
did.
about Las Vegas.
Yes.
And then he messaged just saying, "Stop talking about Las Vegas."
He said there's more to Las Vegas than just that.
Yeah,
There's board games.
there's board games.
But anyway, I think his name's I think it's Giuseppe.
Giuseppe?
It's like Giuess something. I could look at his Instagram,
Nope,
but
it's
I don't want to do all
Giuseppe.
that. Giuseppe and Summers, his wife. I don't know if she listens, but
Are you stalking them?
I follow it on Instagram. We're friends.
When you follow,
We're Friendstagrams.
look. I don't do the technology, but
Yes,
I do
we know.
But,
We can tell.
but you should not. I know. I've got some rules. You don't poke people on Facebook, and you don't follow them and know about their
What about
stuff.
starting fights on Facebook? What about that?
Classic,
You
Jerry.
do that all the time.
I'm all about.
If you ever get into a thread on Facebook about board games and there's somebody trashing something, check and see if it's Baker ID 2000. It might be Jerry.
Yes. I do like to trash things.
Then we had Joe G. He's the one that said bi-weekly can also mean twice a week. Which
Touche.
is true.
Touche.
But we're going to go with the other definition,
Which is every other week.
which I'm guessing is every other. I've said bi-weekly. That may or may not be correct. I don't know.
I think it's
Bi-monthly?
the common vernacular is every other week.
Common vernacular.
Right back at you, Joe G.
Oh, wow.
All right, so this podcast is about
But wait.
what? There's more.
But wait, there's more.
What?
There's something happened to me at work the other day, and I wanted you to rage with me.
When you were trucking?
Yes. I stopped my truck after a hard day's work, and that was actually in the middle of the day. I go into this convenience store and get my stuff. I'm coming out. I notice these two young lads, probably 7, 8.
Lads.
Lads. That's for young boy, I guess.
Were you in York? Where were you driving?
young lads? I don't know. That's just what they say.
Okay.
And their dad. But the two young lads are in front of him. Right? So they're right behind me, walking out this door. Not an automatic door. A door I will have to hold open, lest it slam in the first lad's face.
You're right.
So being the kindly gentleman I am,
The kindly truck driver.
I hold the door open for the young lads with their father right behind them. They walk through, don't say nothing. The first one walks through, doesn't say nothing. The second one walks through, doesn't say nothing. The dad, mind you, I might have should have known what to expect because he was wearing an Affliction shirt.
Affliction.
It's a name brand
I don't know that brand.
worn by, well, I hate to stereotype people, but
I'll look
like
it up.
the the MMA fighters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You remember that guy? He was real popular for a hot minute a couple years ago that like drew the tigers and stuff on everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, what was the name of that? He had cologne,
As soon as I get some pecs, I'm going to buy me one of those Affliction shirts.
Affliction. I don't know. It just seems like there's a certain type of person that wears that.
They're probably not board gamers, is what
I
you're saying.
don't think they are.
Okay.
But if they are, and you're a good person, well, that's good on you. But if you're a good person, would you not say thank you?
I always tip my fedora and say, my lady.
Or
that's just a joke. I don't wear fedoras. I'm
what would you say to
fedoras.
a man?
I just kind of nod real manly like and say, hey.
What's up?
What's up?
Make eye contact thanks, bruh.
No, I won't make eye contact.
Okay.
I don't do that. I close my eyes and say, thank you, sir. Walk on.
A pat on the shoulder.
Pat on the shoulder.
He didn't say nothing.
He didn't say nothing?
He just walked out acting like that's what I should have done. And now this is bad on my part. I got angry.
Uh-oh.
And I wanted to say something snarky like, you're welcome.
You don't be starting.
And they get instantly punched in the face by the affliction-wearing guy.
Well, yeah, because he's UFC and you're KFC.
You had to have stole that from somewhere.
I did. I saw that delightful meme on the Twitter the other day. Somebody put that.
Well, it was very apropos because he was very muscular.
I wrote that down in my little book that I keep for appropriate jokes.
He was driving a four-door Jeep. Wearing it. I mean, it's just, okay. I was judging by appearance. I grant you that.
You didn't tell me about the Jeep. I'm all with you now.
I just want set an example for your boys and say thank you to people that do a kindly gesture to you.
Well, now that we've gotten over,
I'm not over it.
No, we got to get over it.
No,
we can't use this podcast to instill
You didn't
morals.
really get as mad as I wanted you to get for me.
Well, here's the deal. I myself.
Would you have said thank you to me?
Yes, I would.
Oh, okay.
I would have said, thank you, kind sir. You look very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because I have a lisp.
Thank you, kind sir.
I have a lisp. And I would comment it on your I'm number one Star Trek t-shirt. And you would have been like, yes, I got this at Comic-Con. I'd be like, oh, you read comics? And then we would forever be friends. And you'd buy me a corn dog.
That could be us.
Yes.
That could have been me and him, but no.
He could be with us.
He snubbed me in my kind gesture.
Little does he know, he missed out.
And now
he's rolling solo.
Now go. I can't.
Segue.
Let me drink my soda.
Our theme for this board game podcast, which this is a board game podcast, despite what you might have. I've told you about copyright.
But not if you parody it.
No.
I can parody it.
No, you're not.
Solo, a board game story. I play by myself all of the time.
So, in keeping with the upcoming release of Star Wars, the solo story, we're doing our favorite solo board games, which we're going to release this podcast right before the release of Star Wars.
A very timely release.
Very timely. I'm actually somewhat getting more and more excited about this movie because it seems like it's getting better and better reviews. Who would have thought?
Well. I was looking on Rotten. Not that I go by Rotten Tomatoes and everything.
They're pretty good,
but it is dropping. Not terrible. I think it might be in the low 70s, if not. Okay, well, it's at 71% right now.
That's not good. Bad. That's not bad, considering all the hate that goes around.
Yes, that's true.
So, either way.
So when people think solo, not only do they think Han, but in the board gaming world, they think solo gaming.
People playing by themselves.
Sad or fun?
It's sad and fun for me. And here's what happened. To tell my solo story would be that I was always fascinated by board games because of my father, always playing games. And then about the time that he passed away is when I got back into modern board gaming.
No, it just did get sad.
I know. I'm dropping the ball.
I didn't know it was really going to get sad.
I'm burying my soul.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't like getting real, Jerry.
No, this is FR.
I don't like getting real.
This is real. Hashtag.
I cover it with a facade of joviality.
Well, you just uncomfortably laugh. Anyways,
done.
Anyways, after he passed away, I was trying to get back into board gaming just to have something that was not related to, sitting staring at a computer screen all the time. And that's how I got into solo board gaming and thus back into modern board gaming and thus eventually became the most respected board game podcasting personality sometime, right? Right. In the greater Paris, Texas area.
36 out of 35 is what you said last time.
Pretty good. Hey, Our Rotten Tomatoes is 71%. Anyways, so I had a lot of solo board games that I played, and I bought a plethora of various types, whether they be quote unquote war games, which are just basically any hexagonal chit cube pushing.
You watch your mouth.
I know. Board game. To any game that has a variant for solo games. One of my favorites and one of my first
Solo variant, like Alden Ehrenreich, not Harrison Ford. Solo variant. Go ahead.
That is actually a really good joke, just poorly delivered. My first game, it does have a solo variant. It's because it's a co-op game, and it was one of my favorite solo games and one of my favorite board games. And at one point was my favorite board game. It was Robinson Crusoe.
Ugh.
It's rough. And I had the first edition back when it was through Z-Man Games. Very difficult to learn. The translation of the rule book was horrible. That aside, if this is a very heavy game, if you like cooperative or solo games and you're a heavy board gamer and you like the theme.
I'm a heavy board gamer.
I know you're heavy. You're just heavy. The
Gravity jokes.
hashtag gravity.
I'm sad.
It's a great game. You're dragging us down, man.
Sorry, go ahead.
Robinson.
Tell us more about your sad beginnings.
Robinson Crusoe is a great game.
Sorry, go ahead.
Robinson Crusoe, but it got sad because they redid it or tried to redo it or made a game similar to it using the same mechanism called First Martians, which was, sadly enough, the most disappointing game of last year for me.
Check our second review ever. No, not review, podcast. It is on the website too.
I
though,
love
isn't it?
that game.
The website, the now defunct website.
The first. Well, we update it for the podcast. The first game I played of First Martians, I loved. Second game, I disliked it. Third game, I'd hated it. Robinson Crusoe.
That'll go along nicely with our subject next week: games that wowed us.
Yeah. Well, it wowed me, but it didn't stay.
Oh, okay.
Robinson Crusoe, I loved. I still love it. I love playing it. Yeah, there is like a 45-minute watch it played video that Roddo does. Not Roddo. Rodney Smith. Watch it. If it's up your alley, then by all means. This is one of the finest board games made here within the past several years. I love Robinson Crusoe. And so much so, I sold the other edition and bought the new edition. I love it that much. I've bought the game twice.
It's commitment.
That's commitment. Because I'm the type of person I am. When you look at me, I reek of commitment.
Now, Jerry differs with me in his opinion on Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah. Gabi doesn't like it. But it's very punishing. It's very difficult. To you, sir, I hand it to you. What solo game do you like? You're the Chewbacca to my Han.
I'm
and that you're like you're incomprehensible. Nobody really understands you but me.
Speaking of which, I said this to DJ the other day. Rocket and Groot are basically Han and Chewie.
They are. Yeah.
I said if they can copy the chemistry between Rocket and Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy and transfer that to the Solo and have that be Han and Chewie, which Rocket and Chewie copied. No, Rocket and Groot copied Han and Chewie to me. You got your movie.
Nice movie.
I would watch a Rocket and Groot movie.
Part of me died when Chris Pratt wasn't Solo. He would have been the best one ever.
Yeah, he'd have been good.
Can we talk about board games now?
We always talk about board games. But okay. My solo experience only came about because of Jerry. Because I guess I really didn't know about solo board gaming. And the first one I ever soloed was Pandemic. And which is a cooperative game, but you can just play everybody.
I like it. I like it solo.
So, but it does it have solo rules? I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't change anything. You just play multiple characters. You just play multiple characters.
You're correct. So any cooperative game could be soloed. So that's where I started. Then my second game was Imperial Settlers. And that's yours. I got that from you.
I gifted that
I never solo board gamed until I met you.
I gifted Imperial Settlers to you.
And I appreciate it very much. And actually, you did not. I bought that. You forgot that.
Did you?
I bought it for $20.
Oh, yeah.
That's before we became really good friends.
Yeah, you bought me a case of beer. I forgot. Yeah, you did.
That was at the beginning of our friendship.
I didn't really trust you that much. I sold you Imperial Settlers. So I could buy the next game on my list, which is 51st States.
50 of your games sit in my room. So
51st States. 51st States. We've argued about this. I like 51st States better as a solo and better as a game. Do not listen to him.
I have not played it solo, so I can't speak of that. I think part of the issue is, like many people with many games, I've played Imperial Settlers more, so in my mind, I'm leaning more that way.
I love 51st States.
But I need to play 51st State again.
We need to play 51st States tonight.
Oh, done and done. Because I love Imperial Settlers.
And you have it.
Yeah, it's in your
it's in my box.
Bit box.
Love Bit Box. If you can get rid of the boards, the boxes of the games, buy a Bit Box. Love it.
But most of the games I've played solo are just regular games or Euro games with solo variants. I've got Field Commander Alexander. I've almost got it down, but I just haven't devoted time to it, which is a pure solo by DVG.
Segway! Oh, I love segues.
Yeah, but you ruin it when you say segue.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
it doesn't ruin it for me.
You pointing it out ruins it. The fact it's a smooth transition, minus you saying segue. That does away with the smooth transition.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It makes people appreciate just how freaking smooth I am.
But it doesn't, because I don't even know how you were transitioning yet.
DVG. Field Commander Alexander. The best Field Commander that you can buy is Napoleon. I love Field Commander Napoleon. Field Commander Alexander's good. Field Commander Rommel. If you don't know about DVG games, they make pretty much straight up solid solo games. So much so, I raved about a particular solo game that I bought simply because of the theme that Goppy just now bought to play. Phantom Leader by DVG.
Yep.
Phantom Leader is just where it's Top Gun in a box. It's basically flying during these various, it's technically a war game, but it's more of a resource management game where you're flying all your different pilots to do missions and they gain experience and they get shot down and so forth. Would you
say that's a gateway solo war gamer game?
It is. The Step Up is one of my favorite games, which is on the list, which would be DVG's Thunderbolt Apache Leader, which is just Phantom Leader with more stuff, a modular board, different mechanics to it. A little bit harder to learn, but DVG in the board gaming community is like strictly solo games, almost to a degree.
Right.
And he has these certain systems such as Field Commander and the Leader system, and he has perfected them. They're very nice. And if you're looking to get into just solid solo games, look up DVD, Dan Viersen Games.
DVG.
Love them.
DVD.
Love them.
DVDs are out. Blu-rays in.
This is one game that I have. I don't even know if you know I have it. Have I ever mentioned this Leaving Earth to you?
Yes, you have several times, but you forget what you tell me because you talk a lot.
I do. I talk a lot. Leaving Earth, which has to be.
Tell me again.
It's about space.
For the first time.
It's about space. It's about the space program.
I hear many good things about it.
I bought it. It's quite expensive because you have to buy it from the website.
La-di-da.
And it's kind of irritating because it comes in the box that you open. It's just cards. It ends up just being cards. But you lay the cards out.
How much is it?
I don't recall.
Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
I don't recall.
$100?
No, it's not $100. But it's quite expensive for just a deck of cards. And there's various expansions to it. I don't have the expansions, but Leaving Earth is a push your luck game. So you build out the solar system with these cards in front of you, and then you every turn you get so much money, which you buy rockets and things of that nature, astronauts. And when you build a rocket, you shuffle up these success cards, basically, and you get to test the rocket. And so you're incentivized to test these rockets, and every time you fire them or use them, you flip out a card from their deck to see if they are successful or if they just straight up blow up. And so thus you want to test them to weed out the failures, but you can choose to completely ignore that and just go about your merry way.
You put dogs or monkeys on them?
You actually not really. They have like drones or some sort of computerized. It would have been nice. It would have been nice if they had some monkeys. Because
really? You want to blow up a monkey?
Well, no, it's just more thematic because they had monkeys up there pushing buttons.
Yeah. If you have infinite monkeys on infinite buttons, they could blast a rocket off into space. It's a thought experiment.
I think what you're referencing was the idea of monkeys on typewriters could write the works of Shakespeare, which is something. Okay. This is what happens. This is what happens, Chewy. I understand what you meant. But the listeners,
I know.
all 4 of them, probably didn't understand what you meant.
I like thought experiments.
Leaving Earth.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're into solo board games, look it up. I love the theme. Love the game.
Jerry will pretty much do the solo, most of the games that matter to solo gamers, because I have mine on here that I have played. For instance, Viticulture,
Which is pretty decent solo.
I like it solo, and I like Automa. I like having a fake person I'm fighting against, such as AA Run on Castles of Burgundy.
Now you know how I feel when I just play you.
The card game,
Burn.
good one. The Castles of Burgundy card game.
Yeah.
I love it.
Love it.
Solo.
Solo.
I just like playing it by myself.
It's dull otherwise.
Whatever. This is what I've played. Castle Burgundy card game, Viticulture. I have not tried Scythe Solo. You say you don't care for it, but
I don't.
It's always like in the top. Sagrada, I played it. It's okay.
It was all right, yeah.
It's just a beat the numbers type deal, which I mean, I guess is most of them in these multiplayer solo variants. Lost Expedition, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite.
Not
The
my
Gallerist. The solo, like I said in our podcast, I prefer to the game.
Yeah.
Because it's just much quicker and there's much more taking place. Well, otherwise, you're just bump out, you know, blah, blah, blah. The Gallerist, not my favorite. It's okay. That may be all I've got. But Terraforming Mars is my favorite.
Is your favorite. I enjoy
Because it has a clear-cut victory condition, and I like the victory condition that it's when you've terraformed Mars, you're done, you win.
Have you ever beat Terraform?
Oh, Bloody End.
Oh, Bloody End is Bloody End is awesome solo. If you don't like just buy Bloody End. That's all I'm going to say. Bloody End is awesome. Terraforming Mars. Have you ever beat it solo?
Once.
I have too. Now, out of all these games you mentioned, there's one that I just now realized you probably don't even know it has a solo variant, and you certainly haven't played it solo. But it sits on your shelf. I have played, actually there's 2 games that catch my eye that both have solo variants that you desperately need to play. Here they are. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
Anachrony.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I thoroughly enjoyed the solo in Anachrony. And as well, Guilds of London.
Yeah, you said it's got one that you had to look up.
Yeah, there is.
It's not in my box.
It's not in the box, but there is one you look up, and it is actually pretty good. The Networks by Farrell. Is it Farrell Ferret that makes the Networks?
The guy? Or are you talking about the company?
The company.
Jehovah.
I like how you just threw that out there without even looking at the box. You just knew who made it.
Well, I knew Jehovah made it. Formal Ferret, I guess, is the publisher.
Yeah. It's not the person who made it. If your name is Formal Ferret, this is my apology for making
Ferret.
Mr. Ferret.
Good game.
Good game, Mr. Ferret.
No, I haven't played Anachrony. I want to play that one.
You mean Queens wasn't made by Freddie Mercury? Queen Games is not run by Freddie Mercury.
You seen that movie they're coming out with
Bohemian
about Freddie
Rhapsody?
Mercury? Bohemian Rhapsody?
It's got the
with
guy.
Mr. Robot?
Mr. Robot.
They say it's absolutely insane how well he does.
Oscar worthy. We'll see.
If only I liked Queen. We just lost all our listeners.
I love Queen.
Eh.
We're going to have a serious discussion about this when we get off here. I was listening to Queen on the way here. I Pandora Queen.
I feel sorry for you.
You know not what you speak of. All right. Our favorite solo board game. I know you said Terraform.
R?
Yeah, R. I know you said Terraform Mars is your favorite, but I'm correcting you because you're wrong.
What is it?
Coffee Roasters.
No.
You don't like Coffee Roasters? Is not your favorite?
It's fine. I enjoy it.
Why is it every time I borrow Coffee Roasters from you, you're like, the next day,
because I enjoy it, and it's something I can play by myself, and it's easy to set up.
I did nothing but rant and rave about Coffee Roasters. Gobby bought it. I said, can I borrow
Coffee Roasters was on my list a long time ago.
I borrow it from Gobby. He's
before I met you.
And as soon as I borrow it, like the next day, he's texting me, can y'all have it back? I need my Coffee Roasters.
Well, I like playing it.
I bring it back,
but it's not my favorite.
Sits on his shelf.
No, I have played that thing several times.
In the same spot I saw it the other day.
And I have not beat it yet. I'm a very poor roaster.
I'm a barista.
This is my deal. I don't like it because I feel like I'm pulling stuff out of a bag Putting it back in. Pull stuff out. Put it back
You're
in.
not doing
Pull
it
stuff
right.
out. Put it back in.
You're not doing it right.
I don't know.
You're not doing
I don't
it right.
get it. I
You're
don't
not
get
doing
it.
right. You're not doing it right.
Like you like to say about some things, it's an activity.
Oh, it's not an activity.
Well.
No coffee roasters required. You go look at my scores. I record my scores in the box of coffee roasters.
Fairly decent.
Fairly decent.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
I
a
said.
master roaster.
False. You are not.
I am.
You barely got to apprentice. You got one step above apprentice.
Lies.
No.
Lies.
I've seen your score.
Lies.
I also have a coin game
By GMT.
that is quite intimidating to me and Jerry. And if it's intimidating to Jerry, I don't know what I've bought.
It's not intimidating. It's just what intimidates me about it is not that it's intimidating. It's intimidating by. I've used the word intimidating numerous
What's
times.
intimidating is that it's not intimidating.
It's that I have to explain it to you.
We're at the nexus of the universe.
It's just like, I don't know how to explain that Pendragon. Pendragon was just one of the counterinsurgency games made by GMT, if you're familiar with that. If you're not a war gamer, then you don't know what the coin series are. If you are a war gamer and you hear the coin series, you're thinking of Fire in the Lake.
The corn series had to be a different game.
Children of. Why doesn't anybody make a Children
Those
of?
are the Uwe games, the corn
games.
series.
Oh, delightful burn.
Gates of Loyang. Is that on your list?
It is on my list. How did you know? Gates of Loyang is probably my
'cause you talk about it all
second
the time.
favorite solo board. I just want to. I should have brought Gates of Loyang. We should play it.
I thought about it because I listened to some other podcast.
Yeah, some other podcast. Love Gates of Loyang.
And they were talking about the UA games. What was the name of it? Anyway. And one of his higher one-ups is Gates of Loyang.
He is supposedly making another game that is because he makes games that are basically the same game, just redone a little bit.
Well, they're all Tetris now.
He's shaking that, and he's going back, and he's making a game that's very similar to
Going back to the corn series?
Gates of Loyang. He's redoing it. That's the rumor.
He's redoing Gates of Loyang?
It's another game, different theme, streamlined.
Wheat, not corn.
The wheat of Loyang? No.
Stop.
I was about to make a joke. And I stopped myself. Sometimes they die.
Another game that has a solo variant that we bought all the expansions for. And one of them I bought for the solo variant and have yet to play it is Exodus Proxima Centauri.
Let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you something about Exodus Proxima Centauri.
You go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Tom Vassell and the Dice Tower, for recommending Exodus Proxima Centauri to us.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Thank you. For which Gabi then bought, which then I had to learn, which then I had a very frustrating time building my first nuke that ended up falling off into space, not to be found. The game is all right. Exodus is all right. Here comes the soapbox. It's not that great. Stop talking about it.
I'm just gonna let you hang out there by yourself on that one. This is your soapbox.
I'm just done with the whole. Somebody that has a decent game that's got something that they like and they talk.
I don't
about
know. First of all, I have never. Of course, I haven't searched for it, but in all the podcasts I listen to, and I listen to quite a few. I listen to 35 other podcasts.
Right. That's right.
I've never heard the solo game of Exodus even mentioned.
Yeah.
I've never heard it mentioned. Not once. I think it must be not good.
It's because it's a deuce.
So
I'll check that one off my joke. I got that wrote down. That's a good one.
If you're going to play a space game, play Eclipse first and foremost. That's me and Jerry's pick.
Yeah.
And we also like Twilight 4, but we've only played it once, so we don't really know.
I'm wanting to play that again.
But we've played all three now, and Exodus falls way to the bottom.
Exodus is way down.
Jerry spent the whole game all excited building these nukes, and he fired one off and went... I watched it go across my sky. I was like,
I went all North Korea and built nukes.
He fired
to be able to hold everybody hostage to nuke everybody.
He fired
when the midnight hit, I'll let loose with the nukes.
You shot that thing like Barney Fife.
It's like, there it goes, boys. Don't remind me.
Yeah, you did that. Also, a solo variant I have in my possession that I've yet to even open. Nations, the dice game.
Nope. Not feeling it. I do want to play Nations, the not dice game.
The first one?
Yeah, I don't like...
well, why do they make second editions with dice?
Well, wait. Well,
and then people say they're better. That's why I bought it, because it's supposed to be quicker and easier.
Because everybody likes dice. People like rolling stuff because they think it's fun. It gets down to that primal thing of
primal dice chucking.
We're all dice chuckers.
Like when we used to take the bones of a carcass.
Yeah. And make dice out of it. It's called os. They used to do that. They'd roll.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was just joking. I was dropping knowledge. Didn't even know I was dropping knowledge.
Don't you hate that? When you know stuff that you don't even know.
I didn't even know I knew that.
Well, there you go. Don't quote me on that. That may have just... This Angry Orchard hard cider is rough on me when it comes to the history and science. What?
So what's your favorite solo game?
Well, it's not this Angry Orchard. I can tell you that.
Well, what is... Huh?
No, never mind. My favorite solo? Okay.
Are you going to go down a list? You have some...
I've thrown them all out there, and this is my problem. It comes up back and forth, between coffee roasters, which I think is very light, very enjoyable. So that's like my light. If you're a solo player, you have to own coffee roasters. For the heavy people out there,
how dare you?
Robinson Crusoe. I think that is probably the heaviest. If you're into like the
heaviest or just most confusing?
No, heaviest. And so if you're into something more war game-ish type thing, which is, I hate to use the term war game just because it gives a connotation, but Thunderbolt, the DVG line, Thunderbolt Apache Leader, any of that nature is really good. My middleweight, the Hunters.
Yeah.
I've raved about the Hunters. The German U-boat game that should not be enjoyable to me. I heard nothing but...
Is that mostly like pen and paper stuff?
It is pen and paper and some dice and some chits. It is exactly...
Excuse me?
Yes, it is exactly what I would not like. It's my midweight game between that and Gates of Yang. I would not... I can't even begin to recommend the Hunters, but I am obsessed with it.
So your top 5 would be...
Those
in no discerning order. Coffee Roasters, Gates of Yang, Hunters... Thunderbolt, Apache, whatever.
Yep, Leader.
Or was that 4?
And 4? Robinson Crusoe.
Robinson Crusoe.
Those would be the...
So question to you.
Yeah.
There was a game that came out last year that was all the rage called Nemo's War. You bought it.
I did.
You played it.
Yes.
And you no longer own it. Tell us why. Go ahead. I'll hang up and listen.
Well, Dr. Phil, I enjoyed Nemo's War.
Whose war?
Nemo's War.
I think you said Demo.
Demo? Oh, Demo.
That's his brother.
That's his brother.
Demo and Demo.
It's his drunk, slightly obese.
I've got this one, Nemo.
He's the cousin that shows up. Uncle Demo. Oh.
Go ahead.
Anyways.
I'll hang up and listen again.
Nemo's War. I know it's got, the artwork's awesome. If you like the theme, you're spot on with it. The thing is that it does not tell a great story. It tells a decent story. And since it's very close theme to the Hunters and some other games that I have that I enjoy, it kind of waned real easy on me because it is essentially a push your luck game. You decide to exhaust certain, the Nemo or certain parts of the ship to modify a dice roll. And that is essentially the only mechanic in the game, is exhausting these various aspects on this track and then rolling a dice and seeing if you succeeded. So it's kind of a push your luck type mechanic. And after a while, I got bored with it. I just got bored with the same old idea of just exhausting this to modify a dice roll, exhaust this to modify this dice roll. And now I love the components. Is it Peter O'Toole, who was the artist, who did the artwork on Lisboa? This is some of the finest artwork.
Lawrence of Arabia?
Did I say Peter O'Toole?
Yes.
Isn't that the guy who does the artwork?
I don't know.
I said Peter O'Toole.
You sure did.
Check it. Ian O'Toole.
Go ahead.
Some last name O'Toole. O'Toole?
Just stop saying it. He's the artist.
He's an artist, and he did excellent art. The game is good. It's good. but it was very similar to some stuff in my collection, and it didn't last with me. And so I sold it because I simply wasn't playing it as much as I wanted.
Oh, Ian O'Toole.
Ian O'Toole. I sent that man an email. I looked at the art all throughout.
$61.
All throughout Nemo's War. I actually went to his website, ianotoole.com.
Wow.
And sent him an email just saying, FYI, I just love your
job.
art. I just love your art.
I bet he appreciated that.
He didn't ever respond.
That sorry sucker.
He didn't care.
Ian, how dare you? My friend Jerry emails you. You better respond.
I just liked his art.
You want me to send him a harshly worded email?
No, because I'm going to look
in your stead.
I'm going to look at Lisboa as well. I haven't got to play that at BGG. FYI. Lisboa.
Oh, the Vital?
Yeah.
He's got a new one coming out.
I ain't interested in my Vital stuff. Don't let me start on Vital stuff. I want to play Lisboa, though.
Why?
Because Kanban flopped with me. And
Gallerist flopped with you?
Gallerist flopped with me. I'm wanting to give this guy
But Gallerist did have the easels.
Third strike, you're out type thing. I think Lisboa is going to be it.
Yeah, well, give it a try.
Just two things. Housekeeping. This weekend, we're going to be at BGG. I'm going to be at BGG with Bubba and Enrique. Gabi will not. BGG Spring. Let me clarify that. 2018.
Do you have your press pass?
I didn't request
one. That says Board Game Snobs, so no one's going to know who you are.
I didn't request one. And quite frankly, I don't care.
Jerry will be the one in a yellow hat.
Wear a yellow hat?
Like Tom?
No.
I'm going to buy you a yellow hat, and you're going to go. That way everybody knows.
That would be a nice crossover. Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
He can wear a yellow hat and talk about how great games are, and I can sit across from him and tell him how wrong he is.
You be nice to Tom.
That's probably the best crossover since the Avengers. No. And the second thing, the Kickstarter game that's out that we got sent, that I got to play that you didn't got to play.
Oh.
It's out called Jabberjot.
Didn't holding that on me.
Jabberjot. Jabberjot.
Jabberjot. Go ahead.
Jabberjot. So we got sent this prototype that is basically, if you're familiar with Rory Story Cubes, a little dice.
Never heard of it.
The Rory dice, you roll the dice and they have certain pictures on them and you tells a story. It's for kids.
Rory tells a story.
Rory story dice. I love them because I roll them and the kids look at them. The kids tell some stupid story. If you got a 6-year-old, you got likes imagination.
Interesting.
Jabberjot to me is the adult version of Rory Story Cubes. You got this little bag that you pull out like these.
Like that?
Like that.
Really?
You pull out various words from these bags and you pull out these various cards, have different things on them, and then you're supposed to lay them out. Everybody around the table jots down. Jots down their own story, and then it goes around people either texting the story, they say you can text it, or they read the story out loud, and basically the person who's the jabberer decides which one's the best. And everybody goes around table. There's some issues with it. Like, I don't like the whole, it kind of tones it down a little bit because this is almost a family style game, almost, I would think. But because you have to write stuff down, I just kind of, I made a house rule. Just, here's the thing, somebody tell a story.
So when you said it's an adult game, you just meant it's for older people.
Oh, yeah, it's not inappropriate.
It's not.
Did you think, oh, sorry, I got the idea that, it's like it's dirty.
It's not Cards Against Humanity.
No,
Okay.
It's not dirty. Although, hey, there's not different expansion.
You can't say something is adult.
Sorry.
And leave it hanging at that.
Yeah, sorry.
Because that takes on a different connotation these days.
I guarantee if this was an adult game like something dirty, this thing would probably have $1 million on Kickstarter by now.
Yeah, that's true.
Because anyways.
People are terrible.
Take that idea, sir. Take that idea. The Naughty Jot. See, I already named it for you. Run with it. You can take this. Go with it.
No, I'm taking it. It's mine.
But no, it's actually kind of fun because you pull out stuff from a bag. These are these words that you have, these various phrases, and you're trying to piece together the story. And if you're not very creative, it kind of falls flat. People at work, naturally, people play. Yeah, generally
the average Joe, perhaps.
Yeah.
Are you saying the average Joe's not creative?
Maybe not Joe G. Burn.
Oh, Joe G. I don't believe that.
Shots fired.
I appreciate that.
But no,
I too think bi-weekly means twice a week.
It's on Kickstarter, Jabberjot. Look at it.
He said him and his wife listen.
Summer?
So that's nice. No, Summer's Giuseppe's wife. So look at there. I'm on a first name basis with all 2 of our listeners. Wait, got Captain. Okay, this is our listeners.
Captain
Croc, number 1. Friendly Frankie from the North. Joe G, bi-weekly. And Giuseppe and Summer.
And you forgot Jeff.
Jeff! Oh, Jeff, I'm sorry. Jeff. Those are our 6 listeners.
And we love you all equally.
We appreciate it very much. If anyone else would like to get in contact with us, email us at boardgamesnobs@gmail.com. Follow us at BoardGameSnobs on Instagram, Twitter. We have a Tumblr, which I think I might get rid of. Does anyone use Tumblr anymore? Do you know what Tumblr is?
It's I got on there to try. I got on there to look at stuff and was looking up how to paint miniatures on there, and got on basically this feminist blog that this lady.
You got to be careful.
This lady also paints miniatures, and it was called "Smashing the Patriarchy." And this feminist blog taught me how to. I painted. I use their color palette to paint.
Well, you do have to be careful on Tumblr because it will lead you down some dark paths.
Well, that's okay.
It's got lots of fandoms.
I learned about
painting miniatures.
I learned about painting miniatures from a feminist and checked my privilege.
There you go. Interesting.
Which my privilege is having fine miniatures finally painted. Thank you.
You benefited from that.
Also at work, I played another game that I haven't told you about that you don't even know that I bought. I bought Cockroach Poker.
I have wanted to play that. Was it Shut Up and Sit Down? Talk about that?
Yeah. It's so stupid.
Oh.
It's so stupid.
Oh.
It's so stupid.
Well, I'm disappointed.
It's so stupid. It's fun.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you got these cards.
Like Savvy?
It should not have been this fun. All right, you got a bunch of cards that are all these disvariants. Savvy.
Pick it up. Is that for sale yet?
Yeah, it's been for sale.
Okay. If you want some stupid fun, buy Savvy.
So
you're welcome, Mr. Betts. Go ahead.
All right, for the listener. Cockroach Poker. You got rats and bats and cockroaches all in these cards. You have a hand of cards. Everybody has a hand of cards, and I lay down a card and I slide it to whoever I want to at the table, and I say, "This is a rat." And you've got 2 options. You can say, "I don't want this card," and you pass it along to somebody else. But before you pass it, you glance at it, and then you just say, "Oh yeah, it is a rat," or you say something else. He's lying. It's a bat.
It's a bluffing game.
It's a bluffing game. Or if you decide to accept the card, you then decide, am I telling the truth or am I lying? So I said, "This is a bat," and you say, "I'm taking the card, but I think you're lying." If you're correct, either you say, "Yes, it is a bat," and it is a bat, or you call them out on it and it's not. If you're correct, it goes back to the person who handed it to you, face up. If you're wrong, it goes face up in your pile. At the end of the game, as the game goes around, the first person has 4 cards of a kind face up in front of them. They are the only loser. The game ends. It came I didn't quite understand the appeal until like somebody gets 3 cards, and so you're trying to pass cards to this person that's got 3 bats. You're passing a bat to them and saying, "This is a bat," and so they're risking the whole idea of, do I check it?
Right.
Do I want? And so it's straight up bluffing. Did not like it as much as Skull, but to me, Skull is more not adult, more advanced.
Right. Gotcha.
This is a kid's game. This is something that I would play with my kids. This is just stupid fun. It's a family game. I lot Savvy, Jabberjot, not Jabberjot, Savvy, and this together.
So did you say you liked Jabberjot or not?
It was enjoyable. It's right up there. Like I said, I like Rory Story Cubes with the kids. This is something that it was more of an activity. It was more of like, I flipped these cards out and said, I don't know. Yeah. So it's for the family or your group. I don't think you wouldn't like it. That's why I didn't even bother bringing it up.
You don't know me.
I know you well. I know you well. Speaking of whales, it's time to say goodbye. I'm going to get me another.
Okay, Jerry's leaving, so I guess that's it. Thank you for listening to Board Game Snobs.
Catch me at BGG Spring.
Check out Jerry. Well, is your name on your tag?
Yeah, it just says Jerry.
No one will know you.
They will.
Jerry.
I'll be
the guy with the glasses.
Avoiding eye contact.
If you see a fight somewhere, go check it out. If you see a blonde-headed guy with glasses on named Jerry, it's probably him. Jerry, Bubba, Enrique will be there. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Adios.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.